as it relates to these negotiations with Iran,
We have
or
to
the
make a deal.
timeline with Iran?
We have to make a deal, otherwise it's going to be very traumatic. Very traumatic. I don't want that to happen, but we have to make a deal. They should have made a deal the first time, and they got Midnight Hammer instead. And this will be very traumatic for Iran if they don't make a deal. Look, if they don't make a deal, then it'll be a different story. But we had a very good meeting yesterday with Bibi Netanyahu, and he understands, but it's ultimately up to me. If the deal isn't a very fair deal and a very good deal with Iran, then it's going to be, I think, a very difficult time for them in the back. I guess over the next month, something like that. Yeah, it shouldn't take, I mean, it should happen quickly. They should agree very quickly.
Let's move on to this. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu at the White House today, that meeting focusing on Iran as President Trump continues to seek a nuclear deal. Reports coming out of that the president is weighing sending a second carrier strike group to the area near Iran if said talks fail.
So the president taking to Truth Social saying, quote, "There was nothing definitive reached other than I insisted that negotiations with Iran continue to see whether or not a deal can be consummated. If it can, I let the prime minister know that will be a preference. If it cannot, we will just have to see what the outcome will be. Last time Iran decided that they were better off not making a deal, and they were hit with Midnight Hammer. That did not work well for them." So Brent, part of this is just, the president says deal. What does he mean by deal? Does he just inevitably mean like the Iranian regime's got to go and it's either going to be the easy way or the hard way? How do you interpret that?
Donald Trump is a bully. So he's going to sit there and say bully things. But at the end of the day, Iran is a big country. And there's a lot of targets, and we don't have enough weapons to hit these targets. They've dispersed their missiles, dispersed their leadership. Again, their ballistic missiles are their knockout blow. The Iranians have said that they will strike the furthest point from which American airplanes, assets that attack Iran are based. So right now, that means they're going to be striking European bases with missiles that Europe can't shoot down. That's just the facts. Nobody's ready for this. Nobody's ready for about what's to happen. In the past, we've bombed Iran and got away with it. That's what Trump did. We sent the B-2s in, they hit Fordo and they hit some other places, Natanz. And Iran sent, half a dozen missiles to a base that was already evacuated. Many of those missiles were the old missiles that got shot down. I think one or two of them were the new missiles that made it through, took out the $100 million radar, just to prove a point that we can do this and there's nothing you can do to stop us. And that's the point that has sunk home. And there it is. I don't think we have any deep, dark super weapons. I think what we are concerned about is the vulnerability of the Abraham Lincoln. This isn't the Houthi. The Iranians have missiles that have been designed to take out an aircraft carrier. My advice to the Iranians is don't do it. Don't do it. But if you do it, be prepared for the worst. But the United States is in the position of, if they take it out, maybe we blow Iran off the face of the earth. But now what's happened is the Iranians have proven a point that many people have been making for some time now, that the carrier is an obsolete weapon system that is just a sitting duck for any nation that has real capability, like China, like Russia.
What can Iran do to avoid attack? Give us the deal that they should have given us the first time. If they give us the right deal, we won't do that. But, historically, they haven't done that. I will say they want to talk, but so far they do a lot of talking and no action. When are those talks, Mr. President? They've already started. Do you want regime change in Iran? Well, it seems like that would be the best thing that could happen. For 47 years, they've been talking and talking and talking. In the meantime, we've lost a lot of lives while they talk, and legs blown off, arms blown off, faces blown off. It's been going on for a long time. So let's see what happens. In the meantime, we have tremendous power has arrived, and additional power, as you know, and other carriers going out shortly. So we'll see it how if we could get it settled for once and for all, that would be good.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 22 and 23. A sound of battle is in the land, and of a great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I want to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, forgive me the spirit, to do this lesson. This will be a war update on Iran, okay, on Babylon, the small hats in Iran. As you've seen the clips before, okay, it's getting very, very serious and more serious. All right, we told y'all some time back when they had their 12-day war and they had a ceasefire that was only temporary, okay, because it's prophecy we're talking about, man. It's not up to them at the end of the day at all. It's not up to them. It's temporary. Okay, so when you think about it in the spirit, you have to pay attention to what they're saying, but also what they're doing. Okay? Think about what he said, man. He said that if it's no deal, pretty much it's going to be epic. It's going to be an epic response. Way worse than last time. All right? See, back in the day, years ago, certain presidents, you're like, oh, okay, they ain't going to do nothing. They just talking, the hype. No, this president has been doing things that he says he's going to do. He's been standing on it because the Lord put the spirit in him to do so. The prophecy is coming to pass. Keep watching. You'll see what's going on, man, if you're paying attention. Now, he said that he sent another warship over there. I think it's going to take about 6 days to show up. Okay, they already got one over there right now. Okay, chilling by Oman, right by Iran, the Persian Gulf. Okay, you don't send that much artillery, man, and keep sending if you ain't gonna do nothing. He's letting them know, hey, if you don't make a deal, if you don't put your nuclear program on the table, if you don't put your missile program on the table, which is ridiculous, okay, because Iran's military, they stand on their missile program. All right, when you look at different countries and you say, okay, what are they strong at? What are they strong at? When you read Joel chapter 3, it says, let the weak say they're strong. Iran is getting stronger because of the missile program. So they're not going to put that on the table. They said it's not even a discussion. So I'm going to give my nuclear program up to the hammer of the earth so they can hammer me even faster. I saw all these different other countries get took down, but I'm going to hand it over. Now, when you look back at the 12-day war, okay, they showed a little bit of that power, okay? And that wasn't even their best missiles they used, okay? But if you go back to the videos, you'll see, all right? It was the fake Jews in America that called for a ceasefire because they couldn't do nothing with those missiles. Okay, the small hats, they couldn't do nothing with them, man. They would send certain missiles to get their defense system to operate, and then they would backdoor with their more stronger missiles to enter in. All right, that was showing them power, pure power with those missiles. Okay, so they're not going to give it up. So we're looking at war. We're looking at World War III. All right, we're looking at World War III. Okay, when the supreme leader of Iran said it will be a regional war if you attack us, okay, what do you think that means, man? Yahweh Shabbat, Yahweh's judgment. Everybody being gathered to the Middle East, a regional war, okay, in the Middle East. Okay, think about what they're saying and what they're doing in these movements. All right, now, let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 50. I got one more scripture to read. Let's read, matter of fact, I'll read 23 again, and then read 24. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? And they keep pushing this hammer, all the news, the hammer, all the hammers coming again, all the midnight hammer, another hammer. Okay, wake up, man. All right, that's supposed to tell you who they are. That's supposed to tell you that America is Babylon. That's supposed to tell you that we are at the end. Okay, because when the hammer of the earth is so proud to call himself the hammer, okay, that's linked with the scriptures that we prophesied, all right, and they're proud about it. Think about it, man. Pride come before destruction. Okay, so the Lord put the spirit on these Edomites to keep saying hammer, hammer this, we're the hammer, another hammer. Okay, to alert our spirits to say, oh shit, we here. This is it. Okay, because that hammer thinks it's gonna hammer Iran. It's not gonna happen. How you think World War III is gonna get to the max? Because they think they're going to hammer Iran, being the bully of the whole earth. Everybody's scared of us. They fear us. Okay, yeah, but it's coming to an end. The great whore, the beautiful, they thought the whore was so beautiful. Now she's ugly, nasty, stanky, smell like a fish market. She got STDs. It's over. Okay, it is over, man. Let's go to verse 24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken. So it's a trap to get them to go over there, man. The Lord is setting a trap right now for Babylon, for Esau, to get all those troops together over there. How do you not see this happening? All right, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Right, because you're so prideful, you're so lofty and haughty, they're not aware that it's a trap that's happening in real time, right now as we speak. Okay, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord, against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So the Lord is setting it up. The Lord is making them all proud and thinking they're going to do this and continue to be the hammer. Okay, but like I started with, man, the hammer is going to become a desolation among the nations. It says, how? That was so strong. America's power, military, so strong. The best. They always talk about how they got the best military in the world. But it's coming to an end. Okay, let the weak say they're strong. They're getting their military might. Okay, over the years, up and up and up. Okay, certain allies getting together. Russia, China, Iran. Okay, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so spiritually understand, he's sending a whole nother armada ship. I think the biggest ship they got this time. Okay, so the second ship, I think, is the biggest ship, warship that America has. Think about that. Okay, what's going to happen? Okay, think about that, man. They're sitting over there, okay, right by Iran, saying, hey, do this deal or else. Iran is saying, okay, well, you know what? Since you're on that bullshit, we're going to go to all out war. Okay, so keep watching, keep paying attention. We're going to keep bringing up news. We're going to keep prophesying. Okay, but we're super, super close. And this is getting very, 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 very serious. Okay, so with that, I hope you're edified. I'm going to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, forgive me the spirit, to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to you, Akamar, that is doing the truth in all sincerity. Shalom.